JB808. Hi. I'm so sorry. I'm blabbing away and I thought you were hearing me and I realized I hadn't gone live. Are you there? Let me know if you're there before I say any more. JB808. Are you there? It's 8:47 over here. Wow, but it's midnight with Magoo here. All right, so can you hear me? You've got to let me know you came back. I think you went away because I was not live. I'm sorry. Okay. Hi, Paul. Good breakfast time from Agadir in Morocco. Ooh, nice. Hey, Tori. Hi, JB808. Hi, Allie. So what happened is the reason why I kept changing the time, I don't know if any of you noticed, but I was trying to explain this to you, JB808, that if this is my screen and over here are the comments, there was this pop-up that kept coming up and it would cover up most of your communications. It was really irritating. So Bunker and I spent, hi, love it. Thanks for coming on. Bunker and I spent at least 45 minutes on it, trying to get rid of the thing. It was really difficult. But anyway, finally, he said, why don't you reboot it and see? And it's so far, it's gone. So that's good. So anyway, but I was telling JB808 and then I realized I hadn't gone live. Duh. Again, I apologize. So thank you for coming on. Hi, Sophie. Welcome to Midnight with Magoo. That's right. And it is almost midnight here, at least. I don't know what it's probably tomorrow in New Zealand. And of course, here they're showing I think our Saturday is when they're having the Pope's funeral. So it's probably happening now where you guys are, a lot of you. Hi, everyone. Hi, alligators. Thank you for coming on. Excuse me. So anyway, Bunker and I have been working on this, trying to find out how to get rid of that pop-up thing, and we finally got rid of it. So thank you, Mark Bunker. The other thing is Sunday, I usually do Q&A, but this Sunday, I'm going to go over and protest somewhere with my friend Drew. So, hi, Care for JCYT. So I'm going to just do kind of a Q&A tonight. If you have any questions or any things that you want to ask me or anything, let me know. So that's the plan for tonight. It's a Q&A. That's why I said Q&A early, because it's an early Q&A. So anyway, this weekend also is Mike Rinder's celebration of his life. Woohoo! So that'll be nice. So a bunch of my friends went to Clearwater for that. So that's good. And Mark helped he was with Tony Ortega and Spanky and a couple other people today, driving them around. So that was good. So he's conked out. He's ready. I said, come on with me. We can do an interview. And he said, nah, I got to go to bed. And I don't know that he really is. He's probably just got stuff he has to do. All right. So what questions do you have to ask me? Or ask anybody. Hi, Marloka. I saw Spanky with Mark and Tony Ortega. Only person missing was you. Oh, no. Yeah, it was a bit of a much to fly there. I'm kind of not really into flying. And so I did. And also it was by invitation only, and I wasn't invited. So there you go. Neither was Mark. So go figure. You know, I think it's mostly the guys that really knew Mike, and I didn't really know Mike personally. So please put questions before your questions. Good idea. All right. I understand. I hate flying. Yeah, I'm kind of like trying to stay away from flying, especially now, because they're just having so many weirdo things happen with planes. I don't know if where you guys are that's happening, but here, geez, it's been a lot. So I'm like, I think I'll take the train. Thank you very much. I don't really like flying that much either. I don't. It's too, like I flew to Norway and I flew to Ireland, and both were wonderful trips. My favorite thing of Ireland, I'll tell you guys, is driving across the country with Andreas, and on the roofs of the houses are these giant green grass all around the roof. And I said, Andreas, you got to stop the car. I got to see this. What the hell's going on? Why do they have grass on the roof? And he said, it's insulation. It's a very common sense country. That's what I have to say. It's a beautiful country, but really good common sense on a lot of things. Howdy, Connie B. Welcome. And okay, so who did the inviting? You are such a sweet soul, no drama. Thank you. Yeah, probably Mike's wife and friend, close friends of theirs. I have nothing against it. I don't feel like they didn't invite me. It's like I really wasn't a close friend of Mike's. I wasn't. I I appreciated what he did, but I wouldn't call myself. I didn't pick up the phone and call him and stuff like that. And the goats are up on the roof. Yep, they used to be. He said they weren't now. They were out on the street, actually, which was really interesting at night. They're all like huddling on the street. And I realized it's because the cars were driving. And so the streets were warm. So they were staying warm. Okay, Sophie, I haven't forgotten about your care package. Oh, I just had a lot of bad things piling up at once, but we'll get to it. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, alligator. All right. And JB808 says, I have a long flight. Coming up at the end of next month. I have to sedate myself somehow. Wow, where are you going? Where are you going? I think you said are you going to Japan? I forget. You're going somewhere cool, though, I think. In Norway, they have grass on the roof. That's right. That was one of my favorite things, was seeing that. It was like unreal. And also just how happy the people are. I'd never been around a whole society just so happy. Just generally happy. I mean, they were working, but I said, Andreas, these people are like on vacation, wherever we go. If we go to the place to get gas, they're like, hey, come on in. And the goats are up on the roof eating the grass. Apparently they used to. Sophie, question. Tori, what did you think of Rinder when you were in Scientology? And what about when he came out? Well, when he was in, he was the PR. I worked for him. So I didn't really know him much because I didn't see him much because he was an executive. But we did all the work for him on the PR lines. We were supposed to, they hired me. One of the executives hired me to help get Dianetics to #1. And we did. I know Jeff Hawkins, everyone thinks Jeff Hawkins did, and Jeff Hawkins ran the program, but there were certain things that we did that if we hadn't been doing them, it would have never happened. And one of them was something I thought of. Do you want to hear it? I'll tell you what it is. It's kind of cool, if you want to hear it. Alligators, yeah, please take care of yourself. Wow, Tori, great memory. Yeah, going to Japan. That's right. I thought so. That sounds wonderful. I've always wanted to go to Japan and New Zealand and Australia. Yeah, we want to hear it. Okay. Okay, so we get hired. Now remember, the Sea Org were making $35 a week at that time. They hire me and they say, we'll pay you $1,000 a week part-time. Because I said I can only work part-time because I'm co-auditing in the afternoon. meaning you'd audit me, JB808, then I'd audit you. And then you audit me, and then I audit you. And that's how it works. So I said, no, I can't do it all day because I'm co-auditing in the afternoon. So they said, okay, we'll pay you $1,000 to work from 8 in the morning until 1. That's a lot of money back then. This was in in about the mid 80s. And I remember, I'm working next to Sea Org guys that I know are making $35 a week. So it felt pretty weird, but I said, where is this in writing? And they had a little thing that Hubbard had written saying, if the Sea Org can't handle something, that you can hire professionals for it and pay them a professional rate. So that's how, Mitch got paid to make the movies for them because he was a professional in that area. And so I got paid because I was basically in sales and PR and customer service and stuff like that. So I knew about talking to people. So anyway, we start calling all the different radio stations. And this was back when radio stations, the owner of the station would often pick up the phone. And, it's KFI, and I'd say, hey, it's Tori from Bridge Publications, and I've got an idea for you guys. And it includes a celebrity because we'd always tag on a celebrity. And we want to see if you want to do an interview with Dianetics. And so a bunch of them said yes, and a bunch of them did the interviews. And, it was starting to build, right? And then we went through every single radio station that we could possibly get. And that was it. So then, and remember, they could only do things where they could sell the book because they were trying to sell Dianetics in the bookstores and thus drive it up to number 1. So these interviews were supposed to get people interested in well, let's go out and get that Dianetics book. Okay, so we go through and do the whole Dianetic interviews with all the radio stations in the United States. And now what? And so the next book was Self-Analysis. That was the only other book. Dianetics and Self-Analysis were the 2 books they have to this day in bookstores. They may have other ones, but that's what they had then. So then we go around and we do all the self-analysis, blah, 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 to all these radio stations. Not many people were interested in self-analysis, not as much as Dianetics. Okay, so now Sharon Runyon, who ran the program, Sea Org member, goes, we're skunked. We're not number 1, and we're out of things to do. We've talked to every radio station there is. And I said, well, let me go home and think about it. And so I come home and I just start thinking about it, and I get an idea. Because I remember back then I was really pro Dianetics. And so I think, well, you can help someone, you can help illness with Dianetics. You can help, how to handle your family with Dianetics, how to handle your kids with Dianetics. I had different topics. Those weren't the names of the topics, but I had kind of these cool topics that my husband helped me figure out. So I had these 4 different topics, right? And I come in and I say to Sharon, I've got an idea. And she goes, what? And I say it's a 4-part series. And she goes, Tori, no one is going to do a 4-part series for free. And we're only doing it for free. So no, it's not going to work. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, why don't you let me try it? And so I call up this guy who was, I think, in Tennessee or something like that, or North Dakota. I forget. It was somewhere like that. And I say, hey, Bob, it's Tori. And he goes, hey, how you doing? And I said, I'm really good. And I have this fantastic program. It's doing really great all around the United States. And I think your station would really like it. And he goes, really? What is it? And I said, it's a 4-part series on Dianetics. And I give him the titles that I had made up with my husband. And he goes, that sounds great. He goes, yeah, sure, let's do it. So we set up the appointments for 4 appointments. And I come back and tell Sharon Runyon, and I go, I did it. So from that day, for about 2 years, we just did series after series after series after series. We just kept creating more and more series about Dianetics. And, of course, there were celebrities that were helping be interviewed with it. So that helped because people always want to talk to them. So that's good. And it ended up being number 1. And then they say, okay, we don't need you guys anymore. The Sea Org can handle the rest of it now that they're number 1. And I said, oh, great. So we all get together. There was only 4 of us, and we all say, okay, that's it. Let's get out of here. And so we leave. And now about a week later, Sharon says, I've got to have a mandatory meeting with you guys. Everybody come back. And she goes, look, the stats all crashed after you guys left. So we need you guys to come back and work here. And we all go, no, because we knew they would do the same thing again. As soon as it got better, they would either cut our pay or, fire us or something. And we already had new jobs. We'd already gone around and gotten new jobs. So there you go. That's my story on we helping get Dianetics to be number 1. I know Jeff Hawkins ran the program, but that was if I hadn't come up with that series thing, it would have never happened. Never, not ever. Okay, so thank you. Question, alligators. Do you have any regrets about something that Scientology made you do? The only regret, I'm trying to think if I do. I really don't. I don't believe in regret, number 1, because I think it's just a wasted energy. It's like whatever you did, you already did. And when you did it at the time, you thought it was the right thing, or you wouldn't have done it, at least for me. I mean, there may be some people that really do knucklehead things and they know that. But for me, most of the stuff that I did at the time, I really thought it was the right thing, just like this Dianetics. I mean, would I now get on the radio and start pitching how great Dianetics is? 100% no. But did I then think that it was really something that would help people? I did. I really did. So there isn't really anything except, and even then, I don't really regret it. I did help educate the city of Clearwater about Richard Tenney, because Richard Tenney was someone running Safe Sparkling Clearwater, Stamp Out Scientology, and he wanted to get rid of all of Scientology. And I was a Scientologist, and they said to me, we had moved from LA to Clearwater, and they had said to me, you've got to handle it, Tori. And I'm like, I have a new baby. I can't handle this. Have the Sea Org handle it. And this guy, Mitch Wolf, said, look, this is a top secret thing. You can't tell anybody. And I said, okay, I won't. And he said, which that obviously worked now. But, back then I didn't for years. But he said, we did come here on his big pitch is don't vote for Scientology. They're liars. And he said, the truth is we did lie. We came on a phony name, which Janice Gillum has acknowledged. She was on the ship with Hubbard when they came, and they came as the Church of something else. It was another church. They didn't say they were Scientology. So he said, we can't fight them because we did lie to them. So you need to go out and handle it. And I did. And he did get voted out of office. But I didn't do anything that I didn't feel was the right thing to do. All I did was talk to people and say, why are you doing this about Scientology? And they would go, ah, 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 ah. And most of the time it wasn't true. I'd say, that isn't true at all. Like they think that there's Martians that are flying out of the sky. And I'd say, no, we don't. And the guy'd say, are you a Scientologist? And he'd hold up his sign like, I'm not talking to you. It was kind of amazing and educational to see. But anyway, Richard did get voted out of office. I mean, my last thing that I said is let's have a party. These people all think we have long fangs and we're evil. And, people are talking too much about Scientology. We need to just talk to them and let them know if they knew their neighbors were Scientologists, they wouldn't feel so bad about us. But no one will say it. That's to this day. Scientologists are like, oh, no, I never tell them I'm a Scientologist. I always do. I always have when I was in, and I do when I'm out. That's just the way I am. But I remember a couple of big, lots of money people. I went with them, and this guy said, wow, you guys are really nice. And I said, thank you. We're Scientologists. And we go out to the car, and Carol Morris says, I can't believe you told him we're Scientologists. And I said, Carol, everybody hates Scientology. You know it. We have the worst PR. And if everybody that was a nice person or a productive person who is a Scientologist told people they were Scientologists, we wouldn't have such bad PR. And I really think that's true to this day. I do. I mean, look at them hiding in their buildings. I mean, duh. OSA, hello, knock, knock, wake up. You just have to look at, are the critics bigger or less? They're way bigger. I mean, way bigger than when I left in 2000, way bigger. And that's because of you, Scientology. That's not because of us. I was not going to do a thing, and you kept pushing it, and you continue to push it. So there you go. Okay. All right. So Sophie says, yes, we want to hear Tori. Okay. So I told you. And alligators, I told you about. Regrets, I really don't. I don't really have, because I pretty much do things. If I'm going to do something, I go, okay, do I feel good about this? Is this something that I feel is something that should be done? And if it is, then I'll do it. If it isn't, I won't. And I was that way when I was in Scientology. I was like, they wanted me to go over to Mark Bunker's house with this really creepy sign. And I said, no, you guys are creating your own enemies. I'm not going to do that. You just pulled that out of your ass. You don't know that's true. The guy's a nice guy. I've met him. No, I'm not going to do it. But that's because of epilepsy, I think, because way back in 1972, when my mother made me get back on my medication and my grandfather, I think back then I started in my mind, it was like I'm on the bridge next to the bridge to total freedom. So, because people would always say, how can you be on the bridge to total freedom and be on medication? And I'd say, have you ever had a seizure? No. Okay, well then we don't have anything else to discuss on this. And I just check them off my list. Don't talk to that person because they're nuts. There's a lot of crazy Scientologists in that area with medicine and stuff. Okay, so Jonathan, hi. Have you met any more Sea Org members that have quit recently in the last 2 years that are optimistic that it might even close soon? No, I have not. That doesn't mean that they're not out there. It's just that I haven't met them. So I haven't met anybody in the last couple of years that, I think they're online because I think I've read some people's, like I think Alex is within the last couple of years, but he's in England. And it may. It's just one of those things. We'll have to see how it falls out. Everything that you guys are doing is helpful. I cannot say it enough. I mean, the social media, I believe, is one of the major things that's going to bring down the Church of Scientology. I mean, look what Streets has done. If you haven't looked at Streets LA, which he has under Scientology audit, and then it's Streets LA, watch his videos. I mean, he's an amazing cat. He really is. And he said it from the beginning. They said something like, you're not allowed on this street. And he went, pardon me? It's like, this is a guy that his big side is Film the Police LA. He goes and tackles the police, right? And he's like, pardon me? I don't have a right to be on this street? And he started taking them on right then. And then Jessica showed up and she was making goofy things about him that were very funny. And then they canceled both of their TikTok accounts, which had I think 25 million people or something. And that ticked off a lot of people. And a whole bunch of people came and a lot of stuff happened. But Street said, I don't care about getting these people out. I really don't. I mean, I do because they're people that I know. And people that were in often want to help get people out. But he was never in and he doesn't care. He said, I just want to shut it down. And he has done a really great job. He really has. Okay, now wait, let me see. Alligator, I agree. 49ers, good to see you. Hi, 49ers for Life question. Did you see the Tommy G? I did. Wasn't that fabulous? See, that is an example of who is this guy, Tommy G? I mean, where did he come from? But, it's like they're coming. And man, from all over the place because Scientology is Scientology and they do what they do. And people go, okay, this is content creation. We're going to film it. And, they can either hide inside, which it still makes them look like knuckleheads, or they can come out and try to talk to him, which they should, but they're too afraid to. But yes, I saw it and I loved it. I really did. If you haven't seen it, I think it's on Aaron's site, the Tommy G video. But anyway, he's a guy that came here and with a film crew and everything. It just cracks me up. I mean, it's so fabulous for people like me who, started out with just Jesse and Bob and Stacy and Mark. I think Mark was the only one with a camera. He was like, we had like 1 or 2 cameras, and now to see these cameras like everywhere, it's fabulous. It's just unbelievable. Okay, no, wait, let me see. Phil, without lying, there is no Scientology. The cult I was a member also is never seen to be lying. The outside world is the enemy. Phil, without lying, there is no Scientology. The cult I was a member also is never seen to be lying. The outside world is the enemy. Yeah, definitely. They do think the outside world is the enemy. And they believe they're a religion, which is really kind of funny when you think about it, because they are really a mind control, soul sucking, child trafficking, fraudulent business pretending to be a religion. That's a fact. And I dare any of them to come talk to me about it, or any other ex-Scientologists. Come talk to us. I really think Scientology is a shrinking organization in terms of new recruits. It's really a real estate. Yeah, 100%. No question about it. I mean, they don't even have the missions anymore. That was what brought in the new people. That's gone. Miscavige got rid of that. And he got rid of the top of the bridge, which was class 6 and class 8, which was what all these lower people were paying money to get to be, as far as auditors, or to get auditing from them. Now that's gone. Way to go, Dave. Way to go. Really, really, really way to go. I'm very happy about it. Okay, Sophie, link to Tommy G. Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you. 2 million views. I know. I love that. I mean, it was like, damn, in a day he had like 1 million. It was like, woo. And Mark's camera was bigger than his head. I know, it was huge. It was, but he did a great job. And he still is. It's just he really came in, and it was a blessing for all of us. JB808, wow, almost 2 million already. I'm glad it's getting so much exposure. Yeah, me too. Because it's good. It's really good. He really snags them. So it's good that it's probably being passed around, because it's really well done. And anyway, life rolls on. It's kind of amazing when you think of me in 2000 to now 2025. It's like, wow, what a ride! What a ride! Woo! Kind of amazing. I mean, I think one of the biggest things for me was when Anonymous showed up. It really was, because I just had no clue, and I'd been fighting him. Like I've said, I felt like I was being raped in an alley, fighting the Church of Scientology with 4 other people. And all of a sudden, these 500 kids show up with picket signs and masks and black. They're all in black, and they're like, we're with you. We got your back. And I'm like, oh my God. It was such a blessing. It was so great. And I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. It was really a life-changing moment. And when Andreas came too, his thing is up on Mark Bunker's site. I've got to get Mark Bunker's thing. I realized he has a whole thing about me, all kinds of videos of me. And I want to get it on my YouTube thing. I don't know how to do that. But anyway, Mark Bunker, if you hear this, I want it. I'm so cool. Thank you, Connie B. You are too. Wow, almost 2 million. Yeah, I know. Amazing. Really? That's why people are coming, because they have material. And the thing is this about Scientology, it's nonstop. It's nonstop. They never learn. Never. Never. I mean, look at Mark and Laura yesterday or 2 days ago, whenever they did their interview. I mean, you'd think someone would go, wow, why don't we get the father to talk to Laura? I mean, it's just a simple thing, but why not have the father talk to Laura? It would just be a beginning thing that would be someone that they might go, okay, if I can talk to my dad, I might not be out here screaming about him. But they won't. They just can't. And you know what? You can, Miscavige, because you've changed a lot of the tech. So that old keeping Scientology working, gone, totally gone. So you can do whatever you want. It's just you don't want to. That's the truth. And you celebrities, that's another thing. I want to talk to the celebrities and say, come on. John Travolta, for God's sakes, get out of there. You know you don't want to be in there. Come on out. Have some fun. Like I said yesterday or 2 days ago, come on out, see if you like it. If you don't, you can go back. They'll always take you back. Believe me on that. Alligators. I have a plan, a big birthday party at the end of the summer. My daughter's getting 25 years old and my mother's 75. Wow, how cool. And we have to make a moment to remember. That sounds sweet. Can I ask you where you live, Alligators? I know I have before, but I forget. Are you anywhere near LA? I don't think you are, but I forget. You don't have to tell me if you don't want. Question, Sophie says, but I think that's a great idea. Yeah, make a big party for your daughter and your mother. That's what a party that'd be. Did you see my brother's party? Oh my God, he turned 78 in Thailand. And go to Tori Magoo 44 or Tori Chrisman on Facebook, and you'll see I have my brothers rocking out there at 79 years old. It's amazing. Amazing. That is fabulous, Alligators. That's a great idea. Can you tell us more about how Anonymous really helped you? Okay. Excuse me. My throat. Sometimes it's nothing. All day it's nothing. But then when I turn on the camera, it goes nuts. Don't ask me. Oh, wait. Here's a question from JB808. Is Jesse Prince re-emerging back in the community? I think I heard Laura and Natalie say they've spoken to him recently. Yeah, I talked to him, and I've asked him if he wants to come do an interview. So we'll see if he will. Who is Jesse Prince? Google him. Put Jesse Prince plus Scientology. You'll see. He's done some great. Do it on YouTube. Type in Jesse Prince in YouTube. He's done some great, interviews and spoken, and he was very, very active and vocal for years. So Sophie, yes, Tori, I saw your brother at his birthday. Wasn't that fun at 79? Wow. Good that you have a Lawson. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, Google him. We'd love to see Tori interview Jesse Prince. Yeah, I know. We will. It'll happen. Now, how did Anonymous help me? Well, first of all, when I left, Osa was on there immediately saying, don't trust Magoo. She's a liar. She's this, she's that. They had 3 different people they had paid and hired to write lies about me 24/7, 365 days a year for 8 years. So honestly, it's amazing I stuck with it, because It just is. There was an awful lot of creepy stuff. But anyway, because of all the fair game, I'm really sorry. Because of all the fair game that they were doing, and I made an appointment today for an ear, nose, and throat doctor, so I'm going to see someone about this. So I apologize until I get it fixed. But just imagine being attacked 365 days a year, getting fair gamed, having your tires flattened, having them break into your house, having them sneak into my car and spray my rearview mirror half and have it fall off, and just all kinds of shit, just one thing after another. Because I was one of 4 people that were speaking out with my name and phone number. So a lot of people did it. And then all of a sudden, these guys show up, and they were just amazing. And Bunker that morning, well, first of all, they came on and announced on the internet, this is anonymous. And, they had played a video of Tom Cruise saying you're either in or you're out. And they said, look, Scientology immediately got with YouTube and said, get that off of YouTube. And Anonymous came on and said, look, you don't own the internet. We do. We, the people, do. So, no, we're going to show you that we own the internet. And they shut down their website for 3 days. And I thought it was OSA. Having worked with OSA and stuff, I thought, it's OSA. Just there was another book coming out about Tom Cruise, the unauthorized, book about Tom Cruise. And I'd met that guy, and I thought, they're trying to distract everybody off of the Tom Cruise book. So that night, they made that video saying they're going to shut down their YouTube site. And I make a post saying, this is just OSA. Excuse me, they're just trying to distract. I don't think it's anything else. And so I get a phone call, and I'm like, hello? And they're like, this is anonymous. And I'm like, I was like totally freaked out. I'm like all by myself in this room, and it's anonymous calling me. So they said, open up Skype, which I did. And it was, like probably 9 young men. And they told me their plans. And I said, look, you're way out of your league on this. These guys will put you in prison if you do what you're saying you're going to do. And no, I'm not going to say what they said. But it wasn't, Scientology can put people in prison for anything. They're really sneaky and awful. And I wanted them to understand, you're up against people different than whatever you've been doing. So they said, well, what can we do? And I said, let's just do a peaceful picket. If we do a peaceful picket, there's nothing that they can do, because that's in the Constitution that we have the right to protest. Okay, so I walk around with them at the complex with about 3 anonymous guys, and I show them this is LA org, and this is ASHO, and this is blah, blah, blah. And, I show them the whole thing, and they say, okay. And we've been protesting with like maybe 10 or 15 people at the most for years. So now they say, okay, we'll be there on February 10th with 500 people. And I think, okay, sure. And, I really didn't think they would. So now Bunker comes in the morning of February 10th, and he goes, this is your webcam. He puts it on my desktop. And I said, what am I going to do with that? And he goes, we're going to start a YouTube site. And I said, what am I going to do with the YouTube site? And he said, we're going to make a video. Tori Magoo has a YouTube site. So we make a video. And he and I had made some videos, a few of them, early on when I first left, which he's got and has been showing. And so we make this little video, and now I go, let's just take the subway down to the complex, because then we don't have to worry about parking. So we get on the subway, and there's like 3 rows of anonymous. They're all sitting very straight with their masks on and all in black. And the rest of the subway's like this. They're literally totally freaked out. And I get on with my little, sign that Frank Oliver had made me saying, "Stop hurting families." And I say, "Ladies and gentlemen, we're with these people. They're good people. Don't worry about it. They're not here to hurt you. And we're here to protest the Church of Scientology." And they all start clapping the whole subway. It was really interesting. So that's the beginning of it. We get off. I think this is anonymous, which is about 20 guys. I think, well, it's 20 more than we had before. So we get off and we walk from Vermont over to the complex, which is, 2 or 3 blocks. And there's the 500 guys, all with the protest signs and dancing around. And they've got the music on. And I mean, it was just unbelievable to say. And for me, it was just not only because before that time, the media would not do a thing about Scientology. Nothing. They were all afraid of Scientology. But once Anonymous showed up, because it was 500 people here in LA, it was 9,000 people around the world. So in most major cities around the world, Anonymous was there that day. So that night, I mean, people like Mark Headley, who at the time, I knew him as Blown for Good on znew.net on their chat board. And we'd be talking, and then behind the scenes, I'd be saying to Bunker, "This guy's got to be with Gold or something. He knows too much stuff." And so he comes on and he goes, "Hi, I'm Blown for Good. I'm Mark Headley." And, Jenna Miscavige comes up and admits she's Jenna Miscavige. And, it's just like all these people came out of the woodwork. It was so great because for me, no one would support me for a long, long time. I would say, please, someone come out and speak out. Like now you see so many people speaking out all over the place. But back then, there's a very small group of us that were speaking out. I mean, there were people that were anonymously, not with Anonymous, but with fake, just with like you, a lot of people here have different nicks and they would have their identity, but they wouldn't say who they were. So I didn't know who they were. So I didn't really have any backup. Do you see what I mean? It was like zero backup. But once Anonymous hit, I'm telling you, Nightline that night said, "We want to have the top executives on Nightline." And it just went from there. It was like the media just, wow, they just went nuts. I mean, they'd been interviewing me forever, but they'd always interview me for an hour, and it would end up being 15 minutes of Tom Cruise and about 5 minutes of me. And it was always when I looked the crummiest and said the worst thing, that was it. But now they really did real background stuff on the critics. It was really great. So that's how they helped me. All right, it's 3:30 in DC with Hermes. All right. Everything sounds boring. Wow. Everything else sounds boring. I don't know how you top that, alligators. Okay. All right. No, wait. Where's alligators? Okay. Oh, yeah, for your daughter, at 16, we went bungee jumping. For 18, we jumped with parachutes. Wow. I need ideas. Ooh. Yeah, you've done some cool stuff. That is hard to top. All right. And here's the link to the interview with Jesse Prince. Thank you, Sophie. And Jonathan says, Anonymous made tremendous contributions to public education through their public protests. The Scientology staff was upset so much by the protests outside centers' way of tearing down their structure. Yeah, it really was. It really, really was amazing. I don't know how you top all that, alligators. Yeah, I know. That's kind of tricky. We'll have to think about it. Everything else sounds boring. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. And here's Hermes says morning. It's 3:30 in DC. All right. Everybody's saying hi. I'm thinking parasailing. Yeah, that might be fun. That might be really fun. There you go. My daughter did that when she lived in Orange County. They had a blast. Yeah, that sounds fun. I did parasailing. I loved it. And Sophie says, that's right. I think people don't realize just how frightening this cult was to the outside world. Yeah. They sued Time Life magazine, bullied the IRS into submission, and shut down the Cult Awareness Network. Exactly. If you call the Cult Awareness Network now, it is the Church of Scientology that answers. And that's pathetic. Alligators, Connie B, it's a rite of passage. I gave her wings. I think you said wigs. I think you mean wings. Now she has to jump into adulthood, and then she can fly and enjoy life. That's so sweet. Really nice. Really good for you, alligators. All right, Van Cunningham, Tales of a Hyperkinetic Life. Wow, 3 p.m. in China. Wow, good to see you live. Hey, good to see you live too. Thank you. And Lovett says, Sophie, they bought the Cult Awareness Network but kept it alive. True. And then this is Zed. What is the question? Okay. Well, you'll have to let us know. I'm just saying you can ask me a question, or if you have a question to ask each other, you can ask each other. It's kind of a Q&A. I usually do it on Sunday nights, but this Sunday night I'm going to be protesting, so I'm going to do it tonight. So there you go. Sophie, alligators, that's so cool. I know, it really is. It really is. It's so sweet. And to have your daughter and your mom and those big, birthdays, that's really cool. Really cool. Unbelievable. Yeah, Sophie, you're kind of near the Pope, right? I mean, you're not like really far, I don't think. Maybe you are. I have to get out my new globe that Drew gave me for Christmas. It's so great. I love it. It's so neat to see different countries and see, oh my God, I thought they were like, because now that I think of it, because I've been looking at it, and it's sort of like Europe, which is where the Pope is in Italy, and then New Zealand is way, 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 how do you do it? Way, way, way back here, this way, and down. Yeah. Spacesuit Alley. All right. There you go. Yeah, way at the bottom of the globe. Right. I know. That's what I just remembered because of the globe and seeing New Zealand. It was just amazing to see how far away it is from things. It really is. And Antarctica to see that too. Wow. It's incredible. It's kind of incredible to see a globe and see where different countries actually are. Like for me, I keep it right next to my TV. And then when things come up on the news and they say a country, because some of these countries I barely know, and I'll look them up and it's like, all right, here it is. It's very cool. And it lights up at night. So that's cool too. All right. So do you guys have any more questions? This is kind of fun, I think, considering Bunker helped me get that awful pop-up thing off of my laptop. Oh, it was so irritating. And thank goodness he figured out how. I said, come on, you can come on with me. No, I'm done. Hi, Eric. From Culver City, California. There you go. How are you doing tonight? Yeah, you really are far from everywhere. I often think of my ancestors who came from Europe down here to a remote island. I know, I mean, do you have any history on how they decided to go from Europe to New Zealand? Thank you, alligators. I love you guys too. I appreciate that. I'm really excited about your parties. That's wonderful. When exactly are they? It's at the end of the summer, is when it is. I'm all right. My mom is doing fine. Good. Tell her I said hi. That's for your mom. And if any of you, really, if you haven't seen my brother, go over to my Facebook site. It's amazing. I mean, to think he's 79 years old, what a character. He has been partying his whole life. It's just unbelievable. Sophie, how far are you from Southeast Asia, Indonesia, Singapore, Philippines, etc.? I'll let her answer that. Zed's place. Really? You put me in time out for absolutely no reason just because you don't know who I am? I didn't put you in timeout. So it looks like you're out of timeout. So anyway, what would you like to, do you have something that you'd like to ask or say here? Zed's place? What brought you to my YouTube site? I'm curious. Well, we are a group of rascals. Tori, my mother came here when she was 10 from the UK. Wow. But my dad's family came on a second boat of European settlers in the 1840s from Cornwall. It's a new life, I guess. Wow. That is just so amazing, Sophie. You've got to write a book about it. I mean, oh, that's so touching, don't you think? I just think, wow, I would for sure. Okay, Zed's place. This is my second channel. I didn't do anything to deserve a timeout. Okay, all right. So we got that. Zed, well, you were being weird, so I thought I'd see if you are. Okay, JB808. Question. This year marks 25 years since you left the cult. Will you be celebrating? That's a good question. Yeah, in July I have to have some kind of a party. 25 years that's a long time. So we have to, you're going to be in Japan, darn it. I don't know. I have to figure out something. I have to have some kind of a party for sure. One is the 30th of July and the other one is 20th of October. But for all the family partying, I will join them. Oh, that's good, alligators. Yeah, end of July and the end of October. That's good. That's good. Kind of upsetting. Came in here to see what was going on. Okay, so Zed, calm down. It was a timeout. You're overreacting. Either move on or contribute something meaningful or leave. JB808, I'll be in Japan until the 6th. Okay, June 11th. Okay, good. When is your birthday again? It's July 20th, isn't it? Oh, my birthday is June 27th, but my 25th birthday of escaping out of the cult is in July, and that's majorly big. Someone mentioned what was better than bungee jumping. I said spacesuit, then got timed out while typing bungee jumping off a crater on the moon. Wow. Well, this is for her party, for her daughter and her mother. So, I don't think she's going to be doing bungee jumping off the craters of the moon, but it's funny. But Anyway, it sounds very sweet that she's going to do one for her daughter and one for her mother. So there you go. And JB808, I hope you have a wonderful time in Japan. When do you leave? You might have told me already, but I forget. Okay, have a wonderful weekend, Zed's Place. You take care of yourself. Laters. Good. Thank you. I leave May 29th. All right. So coming up. Wow. That's really coming up, right? That's like a month from now. Woo. Now, when you go, I'm curious, do you take a ton of stuff or probably not, right? Because it's Japan. They have like tiny spaces. We'll try to catch your lives while I'm there. Oh, that'd be fun. You've got to send us some pictures. You've got to. I've always wanted to go. Have you been to Japan before? I forget. I have a very big family, 20 cousins plus their partners, 14 aunties and uncles, and I think 38 grandkids and some great grandkids. Wow, alligators, way to go. That's cool. Eric, all right. How have you been, Tori? Sorry I haven't been here. I've been modding for Miss Sunrise Dawn and others. I mod for 8 live streamers at different times. Wow, way to go, Eric. Good for you. Well, I totally understand, and I support you 100% that you're doing that. JB808, no, I'm a light packer. Yeah, that's what I thought. One carry-on backpack and a larger gym bag or small suitcase. It'll be my first time there. Ooh. Well, I'll tell you, if it's anything like Norway, I was stunned. I stayed in a hotel first I stayed at Andreas's sister's at first. And then Andreas and I drove across the country. And when we got over to his side of the country, I stayed in a hotel. And the hotel were the tiniest rooms I had. I mean, I'm kind of a big person. I'm 5'7". So, and I'm big. You know what I mean? I'm not like big, huge. I mean, I was 100 pounds overweight, but I lost it, and I've kept it off for 14 years, almost 15 in June. It'll be 15 years. So I'm much thinner than I was, but their rooms are so tiny, and their beds are like these little skinny beds like I had when I was a little kid. And like in the bathroom, you go in, the shelves are like this wide. I'm not exaggerating. Where you can put your stuff on the shelf. There's 2 shelves, one for the other person and one for you, it's about this long and this wide. I was amazed. And we had to share a shower in the hall. And I had never done that. So I got up at, I think, 3 a.m. and took a shower I was only there for a couple nights. Question, what will you be doing for your birthday in June? I don't know. I got to figure that out. I haven't really thought about it. I'm kind of like, I don't know. I really don't. That's a good question. I've got to think about it. I've kind of got I've been helping a couple of my friends and my son and stuff like that. So I've been busy doing stuff, but I should think about it. If you have any ideas, let me know, Eric. Or anybody else that's online. Anyway, I hope you all have hit the like button, because I know that helps bring everything up on the whatever you call it, on the internet, so that things are seen. When I first moved to Hawaii, my first shower was an outdoor bamboo shower. Ooh, that was kind of See-through. Wow. I kind of liked feeling the breeze. That does sound kind of cool. And I love bamboo, so that would be very nifty. Interesting. And how long have you been in Hawaii? For 3 years? 2 years? I think you said 2 or 3 years. JB808. All right, well, if anybody else knows how long he was in Hawaii, let me know. Eric, I'm really proud of you. Good for you for doing all that moderating. That's fantastic. You've been there since 2013. Wow. You've been there for a while, man. That's cool. Maybe a meetup somewhere, maybe at a restaurant. I would try to come since I'm not that far from you in Culver City. All right, that's a possibility. That is definitely a possibility. So I'll put it on the list. Thank you, Eric. That is, I've been there since 2013. Wow, that's a while. That is really, when I think back to 2013. It's amazing, isn't it? What's happened? I mean, living here in America, it's like, oh my God, what the hell? Very strange. Very, very strange. All right, 2013. So it'd be 2023 would be 10 years. 2023, 24. So 12 years. So you've been there 12 years. I was a totally different person in 2013. I think we all were. Me too. I know. Yeah, I hear you. It is kind of amazing how we evolve, and now you're going to go to Japan, and that's going to be, is that for business or pleasure that you're going to Japan? I want to go to Japan. You must have a really slow thing over to Hawaii, because oh, there you go. You're going for pleasure. Ooh, really fun. Oh my gosh. That's fantastic. You don't happen to know my friend Roger Weller, do you? Because I think he's been to Japan, and he always finds really cool places. He travels all around, and he really finds cool places. Well, anyway, I'm excited you're going at the end of May. Okay. That is good to know. And you'll be back for my birthday. And my 25th anniversary. Okay, alligators. Sophie, New Zealand is far, or we are far from New Zealand. I'm not sure, coming from Canada. Oh, yeah. Viva Internet. That's right. I forgot, alligators. You're in Canada. Oh, that's such a pretty area. I love Canada. I think Denny's would be nice for your birthday. I love Denny's and their food. I haven't been there in 5 years. All right, well, I'll put it on the list. That's all I can say for right now. No, I don't know where he is, Robert. I don't know who Robert is. I forget who I said. No, I think I meant Roger Weller. If I went to Japan, I would be on the lookout for the best ramen. Okay, Connie. Sophie, it's been number one on my bucket list, but every time I talk to someone here, they say the same about New Zealand. I know. I know. New Zealand, both of them are on my bucket list, and Australia. Okay. Question. Do you think the South Park episode that told about Xenu affected Scientology? Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Because it is exactly true. And it's their top secret thing that they don't want known. And it was funny, and people passed it around. And a lot of people for years that I talked to, I'd say, how did you find out about it? And they'd say, South Park. So yeah, definitely affected them. And I love that at the end they had, John Smith, produced by John Smith, written by John Smith. It was so funny. They had their game. They knew it. Sophie, JB808, I'm still fat from Asia. It's a 3-hour flight to Sydney, then 7-hour flight to Bali. It's 13 hours. Wait, now I lost you. It's 13 hours to LA and something like 24 hours to Europe. Wow, it's more hours to Europe than to LA? That's amazing. That's unbelievable. It's 3 hours to Sydney, 7 hours to Bali, 13 to LA, and 24 to Europe. Wow, that can't be, Sophie. It can't. I mean, from here all the way across the United States, which is, I think, 6 hours right there. And then from New York all the way over to London, and then from London to Norway. I think I did it all in one day. I think. I can't even remember now. Oh, I miss Andreas. Okay. Good night, Lovett. Did Lovett say she was leaving? I missed it. You're not fat anyway, Sophie. That's not true. Good night, all. Okay. I keep dozing off. Oh, okay. Sorry. All right. Well, good night. Sleep tight. And may the bed bugs not bite. That's a funny thing. Have you ever seen Shark Tank? They had a thing on Shark Tank where these two ladies came in. Tori, it's normally 2 or 3 flights to get to Europe or UK. Only 13 hours direct to. Wow, that's amazing. I had no idea. Alligators, it's 7th Montreal to France, and it's 3 hours and 30 minutes Montreal to Miami. Yeah. Please no biting bed bugs. These ladies came up with these little boxes, and they went on Shark Tank, and they said, we have these, and they handle bed bugs. And of course, everybody was like, ugh. And they went to the Hilton Hotel, and they said, tell you what, these things capture bed bugs, and you'd be surprised how many of your beds have bed bugs in them. And they didn't think they had any. And they said, tell you what, we'll give you 10,000 of them to put in your hotels. You can have them for free. And you let us know. And the Hilton Hotel came back. They said, we are buying thousands of them. We are going to put them in every single hotel, on every single bed. I mean, it was unbelievable. And all the sharks wanted to get in on it because it was a huge deal. But isn't that something? Pretty wild. Sophie, I'm at Perth, 3:15 to Bali. I'll be retiring about 10 months of the year to Bali. Ooh, sweet, Sandy. That sounds cool. That's awesome. You're right. Bite them back and they won't come back tomorrow night. Oh, these girls made millions on this thing, on these little bed bug capture. They capture the bed bugs. Connie B. Gators. Too much. All right, you guys. Well, unless you have another question, I'm going to end off for the night. What a way to sell their products. I know, wasn't it? I mean, give it away to Hilton Hotel. And honestly, they were like, yeah, okay, we'll take them. We'll put them in a bunch of rooms and see what happens. And then they called them up. We want so many millions of them. We're going to put them in every Hilton hotel around the world. It was just like, wow. And of course, Shark Tank went nuts over it. Thank you, Sophie, for coming and being a moderator. I appreciate it. I appreciate your questions. I love you. And thank all of you for coming on. I appreciate it. And if you haven't hit the like button, please do. And Sunday night, if you can, we're going to be there in the afternoon. So it'll be more like the afternoon, early evening kind of thing. We'll be where we are, but that'll be Sunday evening. So there you go. So we did our Q&A tonight, and then we're going to do the protest then. So if you want to come along with us, come on along. You are invited. I will enjoy my evening. Thank you, Sophie, and you enjoy your day. I don't watch that show. We'll have to go watch it. Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what you can do. You can go on YouTube and just type in Shark Tank, and they have the best of Shark Tank, and and one of them will be that. But that's an easy way to get through all the millions of them that they're sort of interesting, but they have some really good shows. It's really fun to see. Good present, everyone. Enjoy it. It's your gift of the day. Nice alligators. Bye and nighty night to all. Nighty night, Connie. Thanks, chat. Enjoy your evening. Thank you, Sophie. Thank you, JB808, and good night. And we used to have a thing where they'd say, good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are. I forget what show was on that, but they would say it every night. Good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are. Thanks for your info. You are welcome, Connie B. Have an amazing night and day. All lots of love from Culver City, California. Thank you, Eric. Peace out to all you guys, and we will hopefully see you on Sunday. All right. Have a wonderful weekend. All right. Good night.